How's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? It's your boy, the legendary Hadou, and this is a Gantz movie review. Blood, guts, destruction, death, this and more coming at you next. So if you haven't watched Gantz, please watch the movie before checking out this review, because this review is going to have many different spoilers in it. The original Gantz manga was written by Oroya Oku. Gantz debuted in the movie theaters in Japan October 2016, and it debuted in the United States 2017. It was licensed by Netflix, where you can watch it dub or in its native language, Japanese. Now, a little backstory on Gantz, because Gantz starts off in the Osaka arc. So if you're brand new to Gantz, you never actually read the manga or watched the anime, you might come in a little lost. So I'm kind of give you a little bit of information. Now, Gantz the movie does kind of give you some information so you can understand a little bit what's happening in the movie. But if you're brand new, you might be a little lost. So if you die or you killed, if you're murdered or you commit suicide, you have a chance to be summoned to this room. And in this room, there's a big black ball that we call Gantz, and it will send you on missions to fight aliens, to catch or kill aliens. These aliens give points. Now, there's a boss alien that always gives the maximum points. Now, any injuries that you have in the game on your missions, as long as you live, those injuries will be healed once you get summoned back to the room. Now, these points, you can use these points to buy things. So, for example, you had 3 different tiers that you can use the points for. First, you can upgrade your weapons. The second, you can wish back someone who was killed in a Gantz game. And third, you can wish your freedom, where you can leave. You don't have to ever go back to Gantz. However, you're going to have your mind erased. Anything and everything relating to Gantz will be erased from your mind. Now, let's go ahead and kind of look at some of the characters, talk about some of the characters in the movie. So, coming into the movie, one of the characters that we see is Kay. Now, originally in Gantz, Kay is the protagonist of the series. However, in Gantz Kay is not the protagonist. Matter of fact, he's not a secondary character. He's just a random character in this movie. He's killed off in the first 5 minutes, and I was like, wow, that's all that we get of him. Like, he's fighting an alien, and he's killed off, and you're just sitting back, and you're like, wow, that's just stun. And that's one thing I do like about Gantz. However, the protagonist of this series is going to be Kato. And Kato is a very unique character. Now, let's kind of look a little bit about Kato in this series, in the movie, Gantz. He's a character that's kind of like a leader. He's someone that cares about others, and he will go out his way to help others and see what he can do to save their lives. Not just that, he goes out his way to save civilians and do whatever he can do to really benefit the group. He's the protagonist of this series, and I really felt like he got a lot of screen time. Not just that, they really showed a character that really worked hard and really cared about others in this movie, and that's one thing I really did like. Now, to kind of focus a little bit on the Tokyo team, Suzuka and Reika, they really didn't get a lot of screen time, and they really didn't get to do a lot of things in the movie, and I felt like it was kind of overshadowed by Kato himself, because he was the protagonist, to be honest. And them two, they really didn't get a lot. I mean, you got Suzuka, he was a caring person who really cared about the team. He's the old guy, he's the lovable guy. And Reika, she really didn't do a lot. I mean, she had some scenes where she was actually sniping the aliens, and that was nice, but that's the most she really did in this series. I felt like through the whole movie itself, it seemed like they was more scared to do anything. They was like, you know what, we lost our leader. All we have to do is just kind of stay hidden, make sure we don't interfere with this, and we can survive. And you can see that they were scared, they had this fear, and they really didn't want to get involved. And that's basically how they was in the whole movie. I mean, there was some points where they did actually do a little bit of work, but it wasn't enough to really say that it contribute to the team itself. Now, let's kind of look at the Osaka team. The Osaka team, baby! Man, the Osaka team was awesome. I mean, if you read the manga and you first seen the Osaka team, you was like, man, these guys are badass. And that's one thing I gotta say about how they did them in the Gantz movie was incredible. The Osaka team came in, it was badass, it was hardcore, they was assholes, and they just had fun. You know, they was going around killing aliens, enjoying themselves. And when you look at the Tokyo team, it was like, wow, it looks like they're having fun. You know, it's like, yes, they are. These are people that have won the game multiple times, that have upgraded their weapons so many times. They were just really going in and slaughtering a lot of these aliens in this game. Not just that, they're assholes. And that's one thing I really do like about it, because there's at one point where they're sitting at like this little booth, this little diner. They're sitting there eating, and one guy's like, yeah, I got all the sauce I can eat. And like an alien is attacking a citizen. Alien's attacking a civilian. They're literally like 3 feet away. And they don't help. They just finish eating their food and wait till the alien finish killing the civilian. And then they intervene. It was like, they just killed the alien with one shot. You know, it's like, we're not here to save people. We're just here to get points. And that's one thing I really liked about it. Now to kind of focus on Yamasaki from the Osaka team. She was pretty interesting. I mean, she did get a lot of screen time in the movie. She was kind of like a character that kind of picked on Kato when they first kind of met up. It was like, yeah, it's no one out there that nice. And that kind of reminded me of the manga. She did the same thing. I really love how they kept their personalities with these characters. How she was like, no one's that nice. You're just faking. You know, it's like, no. Kato is really someone who wants to go out there and help people. And not just that, she wasn't really just useless. She was actually helpful. She actually did a lot of things that really benefited the group and helped everyone survive. Now I kind of want to focus a little bit on the aliens. The aliens was incredible. I mean, I was like, wow. I was just shocked. The aliens was just so brutal, so ass-kicking. It was just speechless, to be honest with you. I love how they really kept this movie directly as the manga. I mean, it was like watching the manga come to life. One of the things I loved about the aliens is actually you could see their facial expressions. You could see if they was angry, was they happy, was they mad. I love how they moved. It was just really, really shocking. Not just that, how some of the aliens transformed into newer aliens and how they was killing. That right there was just incredible. Now, let's kind of look at the weapons. The weapons in the movie was very, very nice. I mean, when we look at things like the Gantz sword, really, really awesome. I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all the weapons, the Gantz sword is one of my favorite weapons in Gantz. In Gantz, period. And I love to see how they was using the weapons, how they was using the Gantz sword in the game. I mean, in the movie, it was really, really nice. I mean, it was slicing aliens. It was cutting people in half. But I think the VIP weapon in the movie was going to be the Z-Gun. The Z-Gun was just incredible. I mean, it was crushing aliens left and right, turning them into nothing but a pool of blood. This splatter all over the place. Really, really nice. Not just that, we got to see the heart suit. Now, one thing I will say about Gantz, the heart suit went in so hard, man. I mean, it was really, really nice. I learned a lot of things about the heart suit I didn't know. I didn't know that the heart suit allowed you to move faster. I felt like when I read it in the manga, it seemed like he was much slower, but it seemed like in the movie, they was extremely fast in the heart suit. I mean, he was able to dodge, he was able to strike, he was moving out the way. It seemed like he was even more faster in the heart suit than he was in the regular Gantz suit. Not just that, I didn't know that they could shoot blasts out their hand. I made him miss that in the manga, but it was nice to really see the heart suit be so badass. Not just that, we also got to see the Gantz mecha fight some of the other bigger aliens. Now, to look at the movie overall, I felt like the movie overall was really, really interesting. Very good, very well put together. I mean, the movie itself is overall straight action-packed. From the beginning to the end, there's action non-stop. There's maybe like a very small period in the movie where there's some talking. However, it's like 2 to 3 minutes, and that's them kind of talking to Kato, letting him know the rules of Gantz. And I really like that because it was straight to the point. Once Kato got teleported to the room, you had the Tokyo team basically explaining to him, you died, we're getting ready to play a game, put your suit on, you kill the aliens, you get points. If you win, or if we survive, we get to live another day. I really like how they didn't draw that out. They got straight to the point, straight to the action. And I mean, it was just going action almost nonstop. I mean, once the movie started up, right when the movie opens up, you're in a battle with aliens. As the movie goes on, you're battling. Now, what I want to do is focus on some of the pros and cons of the movie. And first thing we're going to focus on is some of the cons that I found. So the movie opens up in the Osaka art. So like I was saying earlier, if you're very new to Gantz, or maybe you watched the anime but didn't read the manga, you might still be lost, because I think like in that era, in the anime era, the rest of the world didn't know about the aliens. Where in the Osaka arc, everyone knows about the aliens. I mean, the news is showing this. Everyone's like, okay, you know what? We all know about the aliens. Not just that, a lot of characters have died, and a lot of characters is missing from the movie. So one of the things that I will say is that they didn't really give a lot of backstory on what else was happening because it started off in the Osaka arc. The second con I will say is developing with the characters. You really don't see a lot of character development because it's the movie's almost about 2 hours, but because it's so action-packed and straight to the point, the movie seems very, very small, and it doesn't leave room for a lot of characters to develop. For example, you talk about someone like Yamasaki and Kato. That relationship in the manga, you can see why they were so close, where in the movie, they were just really, really close, and you're like, wow, they're very close, and they really didn't do a lot. So you really didn't get to see the character development and them working together and really battling the aliens and caring about each other. All we really got is seeing them working together. Very, very, very small point, a very small period, and it didn't really do a lot. You know, they talked about, he talked about his little brother, she talked about her child, and them living together, but it was really, really short. It really didn't have time to grow. The other con is, I felt like they didn't have a lot of the other characters. I understand it was a small movie, but you really didn't have a lot of the cooler characters, some of the other cooler characters, like the two guys that can do psychic abilities. I thought it was pretty interesting. And not just that, I mean, you kind of want to see some of the other characters. We didn't get to see the panda and some of them. Now, towards the end, we do get a little bit of information on, we do get a little backstory towards the end of the movie, and I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit later. Now, let's kind of focus on some of the pros that I found in the movie. The movie itself was just incredible. I mean, there's just pros all the way through the movie. I mean, how the characters was put together, how the aliens was put together. I mean, the movie itself was just impressive. I mean, it's a CGI movie, and it was done so well. At times, I forgot that I was even watching a CGI movie. I thought at times it was a real life movie, to be honest. It was just that great. The characters was put together very well. The storyline was great. I mean, it was literally like almost word from word from the manga itself, and I really love that because they really didn't change a lot of things. They kept it directly to the source material, and I really love that about the movie. Not just that, the movie was really action-packed, so that really made the movie seem very, very small. Now to kind of focus on the end credits, the scene that we seen a lot more people, and to kind of look at Kato just a little bit more. So one thing that we see in the movie is we see a flashback of Kato standing with the rest of the Gantz, and what actually is happening there is Kato was actually part of Gantz before, because I was curious as the movie was going on. I'm like, that's odd. How do Kato not know about Kei? Like, they're best friends, for crying out loud. He get teleported to Rome. I'm like, how did he not know all these people? So they kind of give some information there, is because he was part of Gantz before, he got 100 points, and he wished for his freedom, and what ended up happening was his mind was erased. And that was like, wow. So I was really shocked on that part because Kato and Kei, they was friends from like elementary school. So he remembered nothing about Kei. So I'm thinking that once you go free, you lose all the memories of anybody who had anything part of Gantz. Not just that, I felt like Suzukimi, you see why Suzukimi was so like risking his life to protect Kato, because they was friends before. They knew this, and I felt like they could have told Kato that he was part of Gantz, but not told him about all his friends that was killed. Because if Kato knew all his friends that was killed, he would try to wish them all back. But I felt like they should have told him that, say, hey, you was part of Gantz before, you won the Gantz, and you freed yourself. So he would have at least had that confidence to think, okay, you know what, I won this before, maybe I can just come back in and do what I did before. Instead of this time, they really didn't tell him anything. It was like, hey, you died and you were sent here. So that's the movie overall. In my personal opinion, I felt like this movie was the best adaptation of the manga itself. I mean, I have seen the live action movies, I have seen the anime, I mean, I have seen a lot of different side materials, but Gantz O was straight to the point. It was incredible, it was awesome, it was just great storytelling, and I hope they do more things like this with Gantz. I feel like Gantz have many different arts, and I would love to see the other arts put together just like Gantz O. Overall, I am just this lost of breath. Like, this movie was just incredible. I'm going to recommend you to go watch it on Netflix because it's just that great of a movie. I'm going to be honest, I am very, very happy about this movie. But that's all I have for you today. Please rate, subscribe, comment, and share. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching. Matane.